Hi guys, Ray from Whimsical Pictures here in Japan, no longer in America. I am making this video in my new apartment right in the middle of Matsuyama City in the island of Shikoku in Japan. Shikoku is the smallest of the 4 major islands that make up Japan and the most miserably hot this time of year, so there's been a lot of heat exhaustion in the last couple weeks, but that's okay, I'll acclimate eventually. This month is the worst of it, so I just have to get through this month and then it'll start cooling down a little bit. But I apologize for city noises. I know they're there. My apartment is right in the middle of the city, so there's really nothing I can do about it. Hopefully it's not too irritating. I'll also say that manga that I collect is primarily going to be in Japanese while I'm here, because that is what's available to me. And I don't really have a whole lot of bones about collecting Japanese manga because I can read it fairly easily, so yeah, if that's not something that interests you, just keep that in mind going forward. That said, I'm going to start with a few sort of used oddities that were just happened to be left in my apartment by various predecessors. This apartment has been a jet apartment for a lot of years now, so there was all sorts of knickknacks in here, including a couple of manga that I ended up keeping. And the first one is just a normal volume. This is the first volume of the seinen shogi manga. Shogi is Japanese chess. Sangatsu no Lion, or March Comes in Like a Lion by Chika Umino. I watched the first couple episodes of the anime. It has this really pretty poster in the beginning. Let me see if I can get it out. But I watched the first couple episodes of the anime and I wasn't too enamored with it. But a lot of that was that I don't think that Akiyuki Shimbo's style fits Umino's style at all. So we'll see if I'm able to find more to like in the manga. But yeah. I do like Chika Umino. Honey and Clover is one of my favorite manga, so yeah. The next one is kind of a weird one. This is the second volume in a series of Doraemon kanji study books. So this is filled with Doraemon comics that are meant to explain the usage and meanings of different kanji. Each page has a different kanji. And it has like the information about the kanji and how to use it and how to write it and how to pronounce it down here. But it's just kind of, I didn't know these existed, so I think most of the kanji in here are kanji that I already know. They're pretty basic. But I'm gonna read this anyway because it's always good to go back and review kanji that you've already learned. I would know because I'm forgetting kanji constantly and it's a constant struggle. The last thing is actually an English language manga that I didn't know had an English release, and that is Sazae-san, which is the longest running manga in Japan. It's just like a sort of newspaper strip type of sitcom. The content of which doesn't interest me that much, but it's really interesting just to have this little oddity in my collection, which is an English translation of it. So it's meant as a study guide for people learning English, specifically people who are studying to take the TOEIC, which is an English exam. And so it has the English translation in here, and then the original Japanese where it's out here so you can check your reading. And I just think that's so interesting because I didn't know there was any English release of Sazae-san at all, so that's cool to have. Next, we have a figure. This was a pre-order from a few months ago, and I'm very happy to have him. This is my first ever Nendoroid, and that is Yuri Katsuki, spicy katsudon, taking a spicy katsudon selfie. to send to Victor while we both anxiously await Victor's release. I consider this Nendoroid to be half of a package deal, so I will be making a video about both him and Victor when I receive Victor, who is also pre-ordered. So yeah, he's very cute though. Super adorable. The other Yuri on Ice related thing that I got is from the local Animate, and it is the Yuri on Ice fan book. This has all kinds of art, and there's Pachit. I like him, so you get his page. All kinds of art and information and interviews. You've probably seen excerpts from various interviews from this book on the internet. So I'm very excited to be able to sort of dip in and out of this book. It has a lot of stuff in it that I am eager to read and look at and admire because I love Yuri on Ice with like every fiber of my being. It came at just the right time for me and it means a lot to me. So basically just give me every single Yuri on Ice thing ever. Thank you. And finally, we have a stack of manga. These are Japanese language manga that I bought new at various places around town. First, we have, I'm going in Japanese alphabetical order by publisher. So first we've got Kodansha. And this series is being released by Vertical here in English, but I'm impatient, and this is one of my favorite series coming out right now, so I decided to just go ahead and get caught up with the Japanese release. And that is Devil's Line by Ryo Hanada. Pretty cover. Volume 8. We just got Volume 7 in English, so these are the ones that have been released in Japan, but not in America yet. Volume 9. Sorry about that. And with a super awesome cover, Volume 10. I've been reading Volume 8, and it is so good. Devil's Line is fantastic, especially if you like Tokyo Ghoul, or honestly, like any sort of police procedural, like CSI or whatever. Get on this series. It is so good. Something that I think is interesting, actually, is that first of all, the paper quality isn't as good in the Japanese release as in the Vertical release. And second of all, the trim size is bigger. Usually Japanese volumes are tiny, and the Vertical books do have a Japanese trim size, but this isn't the Japanese trim size that they have. These are actually bigger. These are a large size. So, that's kind of interesting. Next we have from Shogakukan. This is from the magazine Hibana, which unfortunately is ceasing publication next month. I really hope this series continues in another magazine, but I don't know. But at least the 2 volumes that we have I can treasure forever. This is Shimanami Tasogare, or Shimanami Twilight, although there is some, like, punny shenanigans going on with the kanji in Tasogare. But, yeah, this is... How do I explain it? It takes place in Onomichi, which is actually quite close to me. I'm in Matsuyama, so Matsuyama is sort of melting into a city to the north called Imabari. And Imabari is a coastal city which has a bridge, one end of a bridge called the Seta Ohashi, that connects Shikoku and Honshu, which is the main island of Japan. And along that bridge, there's a bicycle route called the Shimanami Kaido, so Shimanami, that's the region. And the town on the other side of the bridge is called Onomichi, and this takes place in Onomichi. So, yeah, we get lots of beautiful views of the Seto Inland Sea and the bridge and just sort of this pastoral, beautiful Japanese setting. And a lot of like Iyashike moments of just enjoying the setting and enjoying the town, feeling the heat of the summer and everything. But more importantly, this is an LGBTQ manga by a queer author. Yuki Kamatani identifies as X-gender, which is a non-binary gender identity that we don't really have a word for in English, but probably should. And this character right here actually seems to be struggling with a sort of non-binary gender identity themselves. But the cast is full of queer characters. The main character is Tasuku, who is gay and struggling with homophobia from his friend group, as well as internalized homophobia and self-hatred. And he happens upon this place called Someone's Lounge. There's actually a character named Someone, so it's her lounge. Kind of confusing. But basically the people who live there and run that lounge also run sort of a volunteer program to renovate old houses. And just through sheer happenstance, a lot of the members of that organization happen to be queer. So we have a full cast of queer characters with various situations and various queer identities, and it's beautifully drawn, and it's a beautifully told story, and has a very nuanced portrayal of queer issues and queer identities, and it's just so good. So good. One of my absolute favorite manga. I highly recommend it, if you can get your hands on it. God, I keep coughing, but that's okay. Next, because I am me, and there has to be Motohagio in pretty much every hall that I do, this isn't the other half of Otherworld Barbara yet, because I live in Japan, but it is a continuation of a series I already own, which is the Po Clan, Po no Ichizoku. This is the new Po Clan content that Motohagio has been doing, called Dreams of Spring. And this is the first ever continuation of the Po Clan since the 70s. It's interesting to see these characters in her modern style. And it's a beautiful book with the foiling on the letters. I love it. The spine looks beautiful too. So I'm very excited to read it once I finish the original series, which I still haven't done. Finally, this last group of volumes is all from the same series, and it is a BL series, so if that's not something you're interested in, feel free to click the video off now if you'd like. But honestly, this series isn't just probably my favorite BL title, but it is also one of my favorite manga in general of all time. This is from the creator of Descending Stories, Showagen no Kurakugo Shinju, which is a masterpiece, so please check that out if you haven't already. If you didn't know, all of her work other than Rakugo Shinju is BL, so this is one of her BL series. It's ongoing. And it is Itoshi no Nekoke, or My Darling Kitten Hair, by Haruko Kumota. And this is the prequel volume, which takes place in the small Hokkaido town of Otaru, when both of these characters are high schoolers, when they're first sort of questioning their sexuality, up to the point where they first start dating. And the art is all, like, beautiful watercolors, by the way. Just like a Takako Shimura work or something. It's absolutely gorgeous. Then I got the main series, which has 5 volumes out right now, so I went ahead and got all of them. And the main series, the prequel volume, is very sort of dramatic and bittersweet, with a lot of family tragedy going on. But the main series is actually a slice-of-life comedy, with a very strong Maison Ikoku vibe, if you know that series by Rumiko Takahashi. It's about the 2 characters as adults, having moved to Tokyo. So we have this character, Mikun, who is sort of a loser slob who works as a porn mangaka, and barely ever leaves the house or washes his hair. And the other character, Kei-chan, is like this really sweet, kind of dumb country bumpkin from Hokkaido who works as a salaryman. And it's just their sort of life together, living in this crazy apartment full of wacky tenants, many of whom happen to inhabit various queer identities. So, I mean, basically just telling me queer Maison Ikoku is enough to make me buy it, because that sounds great. But yeah, it's funny, it's realistic, it's really sweet, it's sexy. These sort of smut scenes are really nice because the sexual relationship between these 2 is just really healthy and consensual, and they actually switch roles, which is extremely rare in BL. It sounds like something that shouldn't be rare in BL, but it really is. So you don't see this sort of gross obsession with heteronormative gender roles in a queer relationship that really should be paradoxical but somehow isn't. This came with the most recent volume, which is volume 5. And it's just this little sort of fan booklet with tribute comics by various other mangaka. So, like, this one's from Chiho Saito, which is kind of funny. But yeah. So this series is fantastic. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a good slice of life comic and don't mind a little bit of R-rated content. In terms of BL standards, it's not all that explicit, but in terms of, like, normal manga standards, there's some butt stuff going on, so keep that in mind, I suppose. Honk. So yeah, that is everything that... Honk. That's everything that I picked up since coming to Japan. I am very happy to have some of these series that have not been released in English but are among my favorites in my collection. And next month I hope to start getting into some manga that I haven't even heard of before. Now that I have the opportunity to read literally whatever the hell I want. So, see you in a couple days. I will be doing an apartment tour. It's really not a big apartment, so it shouldn't be all that long of a video, but, yeah. Might be cool for you guys seeing what a Japanese apartment looks like, and I have put quite a bit of work into making it look nice, so look forward to that. I will also hopefully be doing a vlog of the area around me, soon. I am on sort of, like I said, I'm right in the middle of the city with 2 really big shopping arcades right next to me and the train station with a department store that has a Ferris wheel on top, so hopefully I'll be able to make something cool out of that, and then other vlogs of other things that I am planning to make in the future. There is quite a bit to do in Matsuyama, so hopefully I can show you a lot of that in the next little while. Thanks for watching, guys. see you for that apartment tour in a couple days. Yeah, until then, happy reading.